I like helping my Uncle Ron do chores on the farm, but I wish I didn't have to help with the pigs. They stink.
They sure do, but they can remind us of something really good, God's forgiveness. I'm Zach, and you're tuned in to listener-supported Keys for Kids. In the story of the prodigal son, the son realizes he needs to go back to his father when he ends up getting so hungry he wants to eat pig food. Pigs can remind us that we need to ask for forgiveness from God when we've disobeyed Him too. Can you think of a time in your life where you've done something wrong? Maybe you were rude to your parents or mean to a sibling. You had to ask them for forgiveness and ask God too. And the good news is He will always forgive, just like it says in Psalm 86, verse 5, "You, Lord, are forgiving and good." Now for our story. It's called Feeding Pigs. Grant didn't mind helping out on his uncle's farm. Some parts of the job were even fun, but there were a few things his uncle asked him to do that Grant could do without, like taking care of the pigs. "They're just so messy," Grant said after helping his uncle feed the pigs. Uncle Ron laughed. "They are messy," he agreed. "You know what they always make me think about?" "Not me, I hope." Grant made a face. "I'm not that stinky and messy." Uncle Ron laughed again and led him toward the house. "No, not you. They make me think about the parable of the prodigal son in the Bible. Do you remember it?" "Sort of," Grant said. They went inside and washed up, and then his uncle grabbed his Bible from the shelf in the living room. Jesus told a story about a young man who wanted to get away from home. He asked his dad for his inheritance, the money he would get when his dad passed away, and he took it and left. Grant sat down and nodded. "He did some bad things with the money and ended up poor really quick, right?" "He did," Uncle Ron said. "But do you remember what happened to make him realize that he could go back to his father and ask for forgiveness?" Grant shook his head. "He was taking care of pigs." Uncle Ron smiled. "He was hungry enough to eat what he was feeding them. Then he realized that his father's servants had a better life than him and decided to ask his dad if he could be like one of them." Uncle Ron opened the Bible and pointed out the story. But when he returned home to ask his dad to let him come back as a servant, his father ran out and hugged him, and he forgave him and took him back as a son. Just like God forgives us when we make mistakes and loves us as His sons and daughters. "I'm never going to look at pigs the same way again," Grant said. "You're going to enjoy feeding them now?" Uncle Ron asked. Grant wrinkled his nose. "Well, they still stink," he said, "but it might not be quite so bad." "So how about you? Have you ever been near pigs? They're really messy, aren't they?" After the prodigal son in Jesus' parable spent all his money and had to take care of pigs to survive, he realized his life was really messy too. But his father forgave him just like God forgives us. God loves you, and He'll always love you, no matter what. Go to Him for forgiveness, and He'll welcome you home as His beloved child. Psalm 86:5 is our key verse today.
"You, Lord, are forgiving and good, abounding in love to all who call on you."
And our key thought for today: God forgives and loves us. Sometimes the best way to read a story is to hold it right in your hands and feel the pages and maybe even smell the ink. Now you can get the Keys for Kids stories just like that. We'll send them to you in the mail with your name on it and everything. That way you'll never miss a story. Plus you can play the games and write in the journal too. Get it in the mail by signing up today at keysforkids.org/subscribe. Well, as always, my name is Zach. Thanks for taking some time to listen to Keys for Kids today. We'll see you right back here tomorrow.